All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're unpacking a truly remarkable medical breakthrough coming out of the University of Colorado that challenges absolutely everything we thought we knew about aging, joint pain, and the limits of the human body. For decades, we've just accepted that worn-out joints are a natural, inevitable part of getting older. But what if that entire paradigm is just dead wrong? We're going to look at the science that could literally change orthopedic medicine forever. We got to start with this staggering number. Nearly 1 in 6 adults over the age of 30 suffers from everyday, frustrating joint pain. You might even be one of them. You feel it in your knees after a long walk, maybe in your hands on a cold morning, or your hips when you're just trying to get up the stairs. It's a massive, universal problem that impacts hundreds of millions of people worldwide, fundamentally altering their quality of life. Because it's so incredibly common, I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine a world where that relentless progression, bone grinding against bone, isn't a permanent life sentence. Think about the current narrative. You're told your cartilage is gone, and it's never coming back. You're told the best you can hope for is just managing the pain. But as we're about to see, scientists have just asked a massive what if. What if the body can repair this damage, provided it gets the right set of instructions? Let's talk about the real villain of our story, osteoarthritis. This is the single most common joint disease on Earth. It's defined by this slow, relentless wearing away of your protective cartilage, that crucial tissue that acts like a shock absorber and keeps your bones from grinding against each other. Historically, treating this disease gives you two pretty bleak options. Either you live with the worsening pain, or you eventually cut the joint out entirely and replace it with metal and plastic. There has never been a therapy to actually reverse the damage, until now.
And this gets right to the heart of the core biological problem. You see, unlike your muscles, which are packed with blood vessels and heal up quickly when you pull them, cartilage has almost zero blood supply. So when it gets damaged, the specific cells that are supposed to rebuild it, called chondrocytes, are essentially stranded. They can't reach the site of the damage, and they struggle to survive once they're there because they don't have a basic supply chain of nutrients. It's basically a construction crew standing around ready to work, but with absolutely no roads to bring them their bricks. When you stack up our current, let's be honest, pretty brutal mechanical treatments against this new biological therapy we're looking at today, the contrast is night and day. Right now, medicine offers anti-inflammatory painkillers, maybe some temporary cortisone shots, or the nuclear option of a metal joint replacement. None of these reverse the progression. But this new breakthrough, it offers a regenerative approach. A single injection where cartilage is actually restored. It's shifting from a mechanical workaround to a true biological cure.
Which brings us to part 1, the microparticle injection.
So how did this multidisciplinary team from CU Boulder, CU Anschutz, and Colorado State University actually pull this off? Well, they did something absolutely genius. They didn't spend years inventing some mysterious new chemical from scratch. Instead, they took a really clever shortcut by repurposing an existing FDA-approved anti-inflammatory drug. This drug already had known tissue protective properties. The catch? It had just never been successfully delivered to bloodless cartilage before. The drug wasn't the problem, the delivery method was the missing piece of the puzzle.
To bypass that whole blood supply issue, lead researcher Stephanie Bryant and her team engineered this fascinating microparticle delivery system. They take the drug, load it into microscopic particles, and inject them directly into the joint. These particles then disperse deep into the tissue and act like tiny, slow-release capsules. They pulse the drug directly into the cartilage in controlled bursts over months. It gives those stranded repair cells the continuous, steady support they desperately need to get to work.
And let me tell you, the medical community is paying very close attention right now. When the researchers tested this microparticle injection on severely arthritic joints in animal models, the results were staggering. The joints returned to a completely healthy state. Inflammation was gone, cartilage restored. In just 4 to 8 weeks, one single injection, and less than 2 months later, a total reversal of the disease. It's incredible.
Just take a second to appreciate the sheer speed and gravity of this achievement. Lead researcher Stephanie Bryant noted that in just 2 years, they were able to go from a moonshot idea to developing these therapies to proving they reversed osteoarthritis in animals. I mean, in the world of medical research, where things typically drag on for decades, hitting a targeted moonshot in just 24 months, that's a huge testament to how elegantly this solution works with our natural biology.
Moving on to part 2, rebuilding from scratch.
Because the team didn't just stop at standard wear and tear. They went after literal holes in the bone and cartilage, those final, painful stages of arthritis where the joint structure is basically caved in. A simple injection isn't going to fix a physical void in the bone, right? So they developed a secondary therapy, this specialized protein cocktail. It's injected arthroscopically through a tiny keyhole incision right into the gap. Once it's inside, this cocktail actually hardens securely in place. But it's not just a plug, it acts as a biological beacon. It literally signals and recruits your body's own progenitor cells, the ones capable of becoming brand new bone or cartilage, and guides them to fill that specific gap. The result is full, complete tissue regeneration.
Now, I know exactly what some of you are probably thinking. Okay, sure, this sounds amazing, but it only works in mice. But listen to this. The team has already taken the crucial next step. They've successfully proven this regenerative effect on real human tissue. They took cells from patients undergoing actual joint replacement surgeries, so human cells damaged by real human arthritis, and the therapy clearly prompted those human cells to regenerate too. No way, right? But it's true.
Which brings us to part 3, ending joint replacements.
If we can actually trigger the body to regenerate its own worn-out padding, we have to think about what this means for the future of orthopedic surgery. To put the scale of this into perspective, 800,000. That's the number of joint replacement surgeries performed every single year in the U.S. alone. These are massively invasive surgeries, saws cutting bone, hammering in metal and plastic, followed by months of grueling, painful rehab. Plus, they carry intense surgical risks. With this new biological injection, those hundreds of thousands of intense surgeries could one day be completely obsolete.
And the momentum behind this isn't just academic optimism. The money is matching the science. The U.S. government clearly sees the vast potential here. The Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health, ARPA-H, is officially backing the team's next phase of development with up to $33.5 million in funding. That kind of heavy-hitting institutional investment is a massive vote of confidence that this isn't just a cool lab trick, but a genuinely viable medical standard for the future.
Following this timeline, the momentum is just incredible. 2 years ago, total moonshot concept. Today, in 2026, we have definitive success in animal trials and human tissue samples. And the craziest part? Targeted human clinical trials could potentially begin within just 18 months, by 2028. They are actively crossing the bridge between animal results and human application right now.
Now, the researchers are being super responsible here, noting that biology is insanely complex and animal results don't always translate perfectly to humans. But the foundation for this therapy is uniquely solid. Because it uses a drug that's already FDA approved, the safety profile is well understood, and more importantly, it harnesses the body's own natural cells. It works in partnership with human biology rather than trying to overpower it with artificial mechanics.
So I want to leave you with this one final, really provocative thought as we wrap things up. For decades, we've just assumed that worn-out joints were this inescapable, inevitable part of getting older. We just accepted the pain because we thought the body's machinery was permanently broken. But what if aging doesn't mean your body stops repairing itself? What if the body is perfectly willing to heal, and it just needed us to figure out the right set of instructions? Pretty amazing stuff to think about. Thanks for exploring this breakthrough with me.